The city of Edinburgh is dominated by its castle. The site was used as a defensive position in the Iron Age, and it became a royal castle in the 12th century. And for hundreds of years, the castle has stood a sentinel over the city, acting as its protector, a garrison, a royal palace, and prison. Standing on the site of an extinct volcano, surrounded on three sides by sheer cliffs, meant that anyone held captive in the castle would find it virtually impossible to escape its confines. But that was not always the case. Occasionally, very occasionally, someone did manage to escape imprisonment in the castle of Edinburgh. James III, King of Scots, was one of Scotland's most unpopular kings. He took the throne in 1460 when his father, James II, was blown up by one of his own cannons during the siege of the English-held Roxburgh Castle. King James III went on to be overthrown and killed at the Battle of Sauchiehburn in 1488, while he was defeated by a rebel army. The figurehead of this army fighting against the king was his own son, who became James IV, one of Scotland's greatest kings. The king's nobility were furious when James signed an alliance with England. They were also angry at the king giving low-born subjects prominent places in his court. He was constantly threatened by uprisings and rebellions. King James was very unpopular, and he was jealous of his two younger brothers, who were respected and well liked. The king had both his brothers arrested and locked up on trumped-up charges. Alexander, the Duke of Albany, he was imprisoned in St David's Tower of Edinburgh Castle. John, the Earl of Mar, he was locked up in Craigmillar Castle to the south of the city. Mar was to die in suspicious circumstances. He was found dead, his wrists slit, in his bath in the castle. Albany realised that he was in danger also. He was staying in relative comfort. Not only did he have a servant, he could also buy his own food and drink and have it delivered to the castle. The Duke of Albany had 2 barrels of French wine taken to him at the castle. One barrel contained fine wine, the other a concealed rope.
Explore Castle Menzies after dark.
Is it really haunted?
Is it really haunted?
Book now to find out.
If you dare.
Albany was popular, even with his jailers. That night he invited his guards into his room for a few drinks. The men sat round a roaring fire and made merry together. None of the guards noticed that Albany and his servant were not drinking as much as they were. As Albany's captors got more and more drunk, they fell into a stupor. Suddenly, Albany attacked the captain of the guard. By the time the other 2 men realised what was happening, the captain was dead. Albany set about one of the other guards, while his servant overpowered the 3rd man. Together, Albany and his servant killed all the guards. They picked up the bodies and one by one threw them on top of the roaring flames in the fire. As the clothes and hair of the bodies caught light, the flesh turned black and began to hiss and sizzle. Albany and his servant fled St David's Tower. The 2 men kept to the shadows and made their way to the castle wall. Once there, one end of the rope was secured and thrown over the wall into the darkness. The faithful servant was first to descend into the blackness, shimmering down the rope. Albany heard a thud and a faint cry of pain. The rope was too short, and the servant had fallen and hurt himself. Albany rushed back to St David's Tower and grabbed some sheets from the bed. Returning to the castle battlements, he pulled up the rope and tied the sheets to the end. With this extension, he was able to make his way safely to the bottom of the castle wall. There he found his servant had broken his thigh bone and was unable to walk. Picking up his servant and carrying him, Albany made his escape, eventually ending up in France. The Duke of Albany was one of the very few prisoners who successfully escaped the confines of Edinburgh Castle. If you've enjoyed the story, please like and subscribe. You might like to take one of our dark history tours, ghost tours, or paranormal investigations that are held in Perthshire, Glasgow and Stirling. If so, please visit our website, which is www.historyandhorrortours.com. Thank you.